Chosen one. You've got them using your name to prove someone is a liar. You've turned the tables without even knowing it. The very people who tried to frame you as the problem are now quoting you like scripture, using your discernment as the final word that ends arguments. Without lifting a finger, you've become the authority they can't escape. Every attempt to discredit you only prepared the stage for this moment. Now your name carries a weight heavier than all the lies combined, and truth is reclaiming its throne through you. You had something nobody could control: discernment, the ability to see through masks, the gift of knowing when someone is lying, even when everyone else is fooled, and that made you dangerous, not to good people, to snakes, to manipulators, to everyone building kingdoms on deception. So the coordination began. You thought it was random that different people started having issues with you around the same time. No, that was strategy. One person would pull someone aside and plant a seed, another would casually mention concerns to someone else, a third would sigh and express worry. Different people, different conversations, different times, but the same message: don't trust the chosen one. And the execution was smart. No simultaneous attacks because that would look coordinated. No identical stories because that would sound rehearsed. Just systematic poisoning of every well you might drink from. So when you finally spoke your truth, people would reject it as contaminated. But here's what got miscalculated. The expectation was that you would fight, that you would defend yourself, that you would create drama, show desperation, exhibit the frantic energy of someone trying to prove innocence. Instead, you did something unexpected. You walked away. You protected your peace. You chose silence over circus, and that silence spoke volumes nobody wanted to hear. Fast forward to now. There's a person in that circle going through absolute hell, and it's not coming from outside, it's coming from the inside, from the same people trusted, the same people defended, the same people chosen over you. A smear campaign is running against this person right now, and the realization just hit that it's been going on for a long time behind closed doors. Here's where it gets wild. The people running this smear campaign, the same ones who ran it against you, same tactics, same whispered conversations, same strategic isolation, except now the target is someone who was supposed to be part of the inner circle, someone who thought safety was guaranteed, someone who never saw it coming. And as this person starts piecing together what's happening, one name keeps coming up over and over. Yours. The chosen one tried to warn you about this. The chosen one saw this coming. The chosen one told you about the snake. Your name has become the inconvenient truth nobody can escape. The reminder that someone tried to show reality and illusion got chosen instead. There's a pathological liar at the center of this whole thing. Someone who lies so naturally, so convincingly, that people didn't even question it. This person has been playing everyone, telling one person this story, another person that story, a third person a completely different version, and you called it out. Maybe not publicly, maybe just to the people close to you, but you said this person cannot be trusted. This person will say anything. This person is dangerous. You got made to look crazy for it. The liar got defended. It seemed like you were attacking an innocent person. You got gaslit into doubting your own perception. But now the lies are so contradictory that even the most loyal defenders are asking questions. Now the manipulation is so obvious that unseeing it is impossible. Now your warning from way back is echoing in everyone's mind, like a prophecy fulfilled. While all that surface drama was happening, there was a whole other game being played underneath. Secret relationships, hidden alliances, people pretending to be neutral while coordinating attacks in private. You felt it. You knew something was off. You mentioned that certain people seemed too aligned in their opinions, that information was spreading too fast, that private conversations were becoming public knowledge, and you got called paranoid for it. You got made to feel like conspiracies were being imagined where none existed. It got laughed off like you were being dramatic. But you weren't imagining anything. There really were people meeting behind closed doors. There really were conversations happening about how to handle you. There really was a network operating in shadows. Now that network is being exposed. Someone just discovered that two people trusted have been involved with each other this whole time. Not just romantically involved, strategically involved. These two have been coordinating moves, sharing information, deciding together who to target and when, playing people against each other while acting innocent, and the person who just found out, feeling like an absolute fool, because you got defended too, you got told you were wrong, excuses got made for behavior you correctly identified as suspicious, you got chosen against, and now they're sitting with the humiliating realization that you were right about everything, every single thing. These secret operators were having conversations about you, planning how to diminish your influence, strategizing about how to make sure nobody took you seriously. And the entire plan just backfired, so spectacularly that your name now carries more weight than all of theirs combined. Let me tell you about the Whisper network that operated against you. This wasn't casual gossip. This was a coordinated character assassination. And the beauty of what's happening now is that the same Whisper network is turning on itself. There were specific people assigned to specific targets. One person's job was to talk to your close friends. Another person's job was to influence family connections. A third focused on professional contacts. A fourth worked on social circles, division and conquest. Each person planted the same seeds but in different soil, making sure the roots of doubt spread everywhere you had influence. The conversations were crafted carefully, never outright lies that could be proven false, just implications, leading questions. Have you noticed the chosen one seems different lately? I'm worried about them. They seem so angry. I hope they're okay. They've been acting strange. Notice the pattern. Concern masking as criticism. Worry packaging as warning. Your own words got used against you. When you called out the liar, judgment got claimed. When you identified the manipulation, paranoia got declared. When you set boundaries, coldness got accused. Every healthy behavior you demonstrated got reframed as dysfunction. Your strength got weaponized by calling it weakness. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. Now that network is eating itself. The person who was assigned to manipulate your friends is now getting manipulated by someone else. The person who spread lies about you is now the subject of lies. The person who isolated you from others is now getting isolated. The infrastructure built to destroy you is now being used against its creators. Dismantling it is impossible, because if the network's existence gets admitted, participation gets admitted. If how it worked gets exposed, roles in it get exposed. If the truth about what got done to you gets told, self-condemnation happens, so there's being trapped in a system of their own making, getting destroyed by the very weapons that got forged. There are particular lies about you that are crumbling right now. Let's name them. Someone said you were jealous. That lie is dying because people are realizing you had nothing to be jealous of. You walked away from the circus. You chose peace over popularity. You prioritized truth over acceptance. That's not jealousy. That's wisdom. Someone said you were negative. That lie is dying because people are seeing that what got called negativity was actually discernment. What got labeled pessimism was actually realism. What got dismissed as criticism was actually a warning. You weren't negative, you were accurate. And accuracy feels negative only to people invested in lies. Someone said you were dramatic. That lie is dying because the real drama is happening now, and you're nowhere near it. The chaos you predicted is unfolding exactly as you said it would. The betrayals you warned about are happening exactly as you described. The consequences you foresaw are manifesting exactly as you outlined. You weren't dramatic. You were prophetic. Someone said you couldn't be trusted. That lie is dying because your name is now the standard for trustworthiness. People are measuring everyone else's honesty against yours. Your words are getting used as the baseline for truth. Your character is getting referenced as the example of integrity. The person who called you untrustworthy is now getting exposed as the actual liar. Each lie that dies strengthens your position. Each false narrative that crumbles adds weight to your name. Each manipulation that gets exposed validates your warnings. You're not just being proven right on one issue. You're being vindicated on every single thing you almost got destroyed for. Your peace is not negotiable. You will choose yourself over situations that drain you. You don't need validation to know your worth. You're not coming back just because readiness to acknowledge rightness finally arrived. Your silence has been teaching lessons that never got learned when you were speaking. When you were present, your words could get dismissed. When you were engaged, your points could get debated. When you were accessible, you could get taken for granted. But your absence is a teacher that can't get ignored. The lesson is being learned that chosen ones don't chase closure. You didn't need admission of wrongness. You didn't need apologies. You didn't need validation of your experience. You knew what you knew, and acknowledgement was irrelevant to your truth. The lesson is being learned that chosen ones don't beg for respect. You didn't keep trying to prove yourself after dismissal. You didn't keep explaining yourself after misunderstanding. You didn't keep defending yourself after accusations. You just left. And that departure demonstrated more strength than any argument could have. Let's talk about what's really happening when your name gets invoked. This isn't casual conversation. This is psychological warfare turned on itself. Every time someone says the chosen one warned us about this, something is happening that never wanted to happen. Rightness is getting admitted, and that admission costs something. It costs pride. Because acknowledging you were right means acknowledging wrongness. It means admitting valid warnings got dismissed. It means confessing liars got chosen over truth-tellers. And for people who built entire identities on being smart, being discerning, being good judges of character, that's a devastating blow. It costs credibility. Because if you were right about this, what else were you right about? If you correctly identified this liar, did you also correctly identify the manipulator, the user, the fraud? Suddenly every warning you ever gave gets a second look. Every observation you made gets reconsidered. Every person you called out gets side-eyed. Your entire track record gets validated retroactively. It costs alliances, because using your name means breaking rank with the people who discredited you. It means stepping away from the group that made you the villain. It means choosing truth over tribe. And for people who value belonging above everything, that's terrifying. But it's happening anyway, because the lie has become too big to maintain. People will defend a lie for a long time. Protection of a liar lasts even longer. But when that liar turns on them personally, suddenly truth becomes very important. Suddenly your warnings matter. Suddenly your discernment is valuable. It's not that truth gets loved now. It's that truth is needed as a weapon against someone who caused hurt. So your name is getting used strategically. Your authority is getting invoked to strengthen cases against someone else. Your warnings are getting cited as evidence of victimhood. Your credibility is getting weaponized to save reputations. And the wild part, it's working, because you actually built real credibility. You actually earned real trust. You actually established real authority through consistent integrity. You said someone was lying about identity. People are finding out now that a completely fabricated version got presented. The credentials claimed don't exist. The experiences described never happened. The connections bragged about are fictional. Everything you said about fraud is getting confirmed in real time. You said someone was playing both sides. People are discovering now that different groups got told different stories. Agreement happened with everyone, while commitment happened with no one. Information got collected from all sides and used strategically. Conflict got created between people, while peace got pretended. Every observation you made about duplicity is getting proven accurate. You said someone was financially manipulative. People are realizing now that relationships got used for material gain. Money got borrowed with no intention of return. Resources got collected under false pretenses. People's generosity got leveraged for personal benefit. Everything you warned about parasitic nature is getting exposed. You said someone was emotionally unstable and would eventually explode. People are witnessing now that pressure cannot get handled. Public meltdowns are happening. Lashing out at everyone around is occurring. Spiraling in ways impossible to ignore is manifesting. The volatility you predicted is happening exactly as you described. You said the whole group dynamic was toxic and would implode. People are watching now as the entire circle tears itself apart. The infighting is escalating, the betrayals are multiplying, the drama is consuming everyone involved, the collapse you forecasted is happening in spectacular fashion. Each prediction coming true adds another layer of credibility to your name. Each warning manifesting adds more weight to your words. Each observation being confirmed adds more authority to your voice. You're not just being proven right, you're being established as someone with genuine prophetic discernment. You chose truth over belonging. When everyone else was going along with lies to maintain position in the group, you spoke up. You risked isolation for integrity. You valued accuracy more than acceptance. That's rare. That's powerful. That's why your word matters now. You chose consistency over convenience. You didn't change your story based on who you were talking to. You didn't adjust your standards based on who was watching. You didn't compromise your values for social benefit. You were the same person in every room, with every person, in every situation. That consistency built trust even among people who didn't like what you were saying. You chose silence over spectacle. When attacks came, you didn't create a circus. You didn't blast anyone publicly. You didn't run a counter-campaign. You didn't try to turn people against them the way attempts got made to turn people against you. You just quietly removed yourself and let truth do its work. That restraint demonstrated strength. That silence spoke volumes. You chose growth over grudges. You didn't spend time obsessing over revenge. You didn't plot downfall. You didn't waste energy on hatred. You focused on healing, on building, on becoming better. While consumption with destroying you happened, investment in elevating yourself occurred. And that elevation is why you're the authority now. But here's something that might surprise you. There were people who knew you were right from the beginning. People who watched the smear campaign against you and didn't participate. People who heard the lies and didn't spread them. People who saw what was happening and quietly distanced themselves from it. These people are watching the current situation unfold with a very particular emotion. Validation, because personal discernment got trusted when everyone else was following the crowd. What got seen got honored even when it wasn't popular. Personal integrity got protected by refusing to participate in destroying yours. Some of these people might reach out to you now, not with apologies, because nothing needs apologizing for, but with recognition, with acknowledgement that you were right. And the seeing happened here too, with respect for how you handled the situation, with appreciation for your consistency. These are different from the people who wronged you, and now regret it. These are the ones who never wronged you in the first place. Pay attention to who these people are. These are your real allies. These are the ones with discernment matching yours. These are the ones who value truth over comfort. These are the ones who will stand with you in the next battle, not just show up after the war is won asking for benefits. There's also another group, people who weren't sure at the time, people who genuinely didn't know who to believe, people who stayed neutral because more information was needed. Some of these people have now received that information through direct experience. Lies came from the same liar. Manipulation came from the same manipulator. Usage came from the same user. And now understanding exists. These people might approach you with a different energy than those who actively participated in hurting you. Something like, "I wasn't sure then but I see it now," might get said. That's honest. That's fair. These are people worth considering if subsequent actions demonstrate real understanding and genuine respect for what you went through. There's a phase in every deception where the lie becomes too expensive to maintain, where keeping up the facade requires more energy than telling the truth, where the cost of pretending exceeds the benefit. That's where this situation is right now. It's too expensive to keep defending the liar because new lies emerge constantly. It's too exhausting to keep making excuses for the manipulator because the manipulation is too obvious now. It's too draining to keep covering for the fraud because the evidence is overwhelming. The whole operation is collapsing under its own weight. And in that collapse, your name is the only stable reference point. While everything else is shifting and changing and getting revealed as false, you remain consistent. Your words from way back still hold true. Your character stays solid while everyone else's crumbles. Your integrity stands when everything else falls. This is what happens when you build your life on truth instead of lies. Truth doesn't need defense. Truth doesn't require updates when circumstances change. Truth doesn't shift based on who's listening. Truth just is. And when the lies fall apart, truth is still standing exactly where it always was. There's a specific emotion people feel when your name gets invoked now. It's a mixture of vindication and shame. Vindication because proof finally exists of deception. Shame because that proof came at the cost of admitting you tried to show them and refusal to see happened. Some people feel relief when you get mentioned. Relief because language finally exists for what was being experienced. Relief because aloneness in seeing what's wrong is over. Relief because someone else confirmed suspicions. Your name gives permission to trust personal discernment again. Some people feel anger when you get referenced. Not anger at you, anger at themselves for not listening. Anger at the situation for proving you right. Anger at the wasted time spent defending lies. Your name reminds them of opportunities missed and warnings ignored. Some people feel hope when speaking about you occurs. Hope that if you saw clearly, maybe clear seeing can get learned too. Hope that if you survived this, maybe survival is possible for them too. Hope that if you healed after getting hurt, maybe healing is possible for them too. Your name represents a path forward desperately needed. Some people feel fear when your authority gets invoked. Fear that you saw more than you said. Fear that things about them get known that hopefully stay hidden. Fear that if you were right about everyone else, you might be right about them too. Your name makes personal standing get questioned. But regardless of the emotion, compulsion exists to use your name, because your name has become the key that unlocks understanding in this situation. Your name is the code that makes everything else make sense. Your name is the password that grants access to truth in a system built on lies. When the campaign against you ran, social capital got spent. Every person convinced to doubt you cost credibility with people who valued truth. Every lie told about you was a debt taken on. Every manipulation used against you was a loan that couldn't get repaid. At the time it seemed worth it. Isolation of you was happening. Networks were getting built. Power was getting established. Winning seemed to be occurring. But social bankruptcy was actually happening, because social capital based on lies has a terrible interest rate. Now the bills are coming due. People who went along with the lies are demanding refunds. Allies who supported based on false information are withdrawing support. Connections made through gossip about you are getting severed. The entire social structure built is collapsing because construction happened on a foundation of deception. Meanwhile, your social capital is compounding. Every prediction that comes true is interest earned. Every warning that manifests is a return on investment. Every observation that gets validated is profit. You're not just getting your capital back. Massive returns on integrity invested when it wasn't popular are getting collected. When challenges to stories come, your name gets invoked as proof. When judgment gets questioned, your warnings get referenced as evidence. When experience gets doubted, your observations get cited as validation. Your name is the ace that keeps having to get played, even though every time it gets played, admission happens that you were the one who really saw clearly. Some resent this deeply. Hatred exists that need for you exists to make points. Despising happens that your credibility exceeds theirs. Loathing exists that your name carries more weight than their own names. But resentment doesn't change reality. And the reality is that you earned authority through consistency, while authority got lost through deception. Others are more pragmatic about it. Recognition exists that using your name benefits even if it validates you. Understanding exists that borrowing your credibility helps cases even if it costs pride. Acceptance exists that aligning with your truth strengthens positions even if it means admitting previous wrongness. But whether resentment or pragmatism exists, everyone is doing it. Everyone is using your name. Everyone is invoking your authority. Everyone is referencing your discernment. Because in a situation where lies are getting exposed, and truth is getting revealed, your name is the only one representing clarity, accuracy, and integrity. There's someone in this situation who collected money under false pretenses, someone who asked for financial help for one thing, but used it for something else, someone who may have even run a scam disguised as a legitimate need, and when the truth about this comes out, devastation of multiple people is going to happen. Maybe it was a fundraiser when coverage already existed. Maybe it was a business investment that was actually something else. Maybe it was a request for help when expenses were already covered. Whatever it is, money is involved that got obtained through deception, and the person who did this is terrified of exposure. What makes this worse is that other people knew about it. Other people helped set it up. Other people coached on what to say and how to present it to make it believable. So when this person gets exposed, going down alone isn't happening. Others are getting taken down too. And that's why everyone is in a standoff right now. Everyone has dirt on everyone else. Everyone is threatening to expose everyone else. No one can make a move without triggering an avalanche. And somehow, your name is still getting used as the standard of honesty in all of this. The Chosen One would never do something like this. The Chosen One has always been straight up about money. The Chosen One tried to warn us about people who use others for financial gain. Even in a situation you have nothing to do with, your character is getting used as the measuring stick. Someone is in unique trouble right now. Someone who played a long game for financial benefit. Someone who attached to a person or situation specifically to extract resources. Someone who presented a false image while working a hidden agenda. And exposure is about to happen in a way that destroys the entire operation. Something valuable got collected under false pretenses. Could be money, could be opportunities, could be connections. Whatever it is, acquisition happened through deception, and now questions are starting to get asked. Where did that money really go? What was the real reason help was needed? Why don't the numbers add up? The panic being felt right now is intense, because if exposure happens, giving it all back has to happen. The money, the status, the reputation, everything fraudulently obtained has to get returned, and return is impossible because spending already happened, or usage already occurred, or possession doesn't exist anymore. Even worse, people helped run this scam. People advised on how to make it believable. People vouched to make others trust. So when this fraud comes to light, multiple people get implicated. That's why everyone is stuck. Exposure of each other can't happen without self-exposure. Now let me put you onto something real, Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition, and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. By walking away completely, by going silent, by focusing on yourself, competition for your attention got created in a game nobody knew was being played. Your absence created value. Your silence created curiosity. Your detachment created desire for your approval. Now your name is getting used to prove points because unconsciously alignment with your authority is getting attempted. Hoping happens that some of your credibility rubs off. Attempting happens to borrow your reputation to fix personal reputations. Leveraging of your name is happening because personal names carry no weight. And fighting for any of it didn't have to happen. Campaigning for credibility didn't have to happen. Defending your reputation didn't have to happen. Proving your worth didn't have to happen. You just had to be consistent in your truth and patient in your process. The universe handled the rest. This is what real power looks like. Not forcing people to respect you, not demanding people acknowledge you, not fighting for validation, just being so grounded in your truth that reality eventually has no choice but to confirm it. Just being so committed to your integrity that time eventually proves you right. Just being so aligned with divine order that justice eventually manifests in your favor. This isn't just about being proven right. This is about stepping into a level of authority that was always meant for you. Your name carries weight because your character earned it. Your words carry power because your integrity backs them. Your discernment gets respected because your track record proves it. You're not the victim in this story anymore. You never really were, but now everyone can see it. You're the standard. You're the authority. You're the one whose name gets invoked when people need to establish truth. You're the measuring stick for integrity in a situation full of people who have none. Think about the power dynamic that just shifted. Attempts happen to make you irrelevant. Attempts happen to make you an outcast. Attempts happen to make you the problem. And now conversations about truth literally cannot happen without bringing up your name. You haunt every discussion about who's real and who's fake. You're the ghost in the machine, the name that can't get escaped, the truth that can't get denied. This is what it looks like when a chosen one refuses to compromise. This is what happens when you stand in truth no matter the cost. This is the reward for protecting your peace instead of fighting for approval. You didn't need validation. You had God's. And God's validation just manifested in a way that forces everyone else to acknowledge it too. You're entering a new season. A season where everything you called in during your isolation starts manifesting. The peace you prioritized is about to multiply. The boundaries you set are about to get respected. The standards you refused to lower are about to get met. The love you saved for yourself is about to get matched by people who actually deserve access to you. But here's the key. The highest form of victory is indifference. You don't need to gloat. You don't need to say, "I told you so." You don't need to watch destruction happen and feel satisfied. You need to be so far removed from the chaos that genuine not caring exists about what happens next. Our job isn't to punish. That's already happening without your involvement. Your job isn't to save anyone. That's not your responsibility. Your job is to keep building the life you started creating when you walked away from toxicity. Keep honoring your truth. Keep protecting your peace. Keep elevating your frequency. Some will try to come back. You already know this, and decisions will have to get made about who gets access and who doesn't. Remember this, just because someone finally sees what you saw doesn't mean change as a person happened. Just because someone is experiencing consequences doesn't mean the lesson got learned. Just because someone wants your support doesn't mean obligation to give it exists. You owe no one a second chance who didn't value the first one. You owe no one your energy just because waking up finally happened. You owe no one access to the peace you fought so hard to create. Your forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation. Your healing doesn't need participation. Your growth doesn't need approval. So we end where we began. With your name getting used in conversations you're not part of. With your warnings getting repeated by people who dismissed them. With your discernment getting validated by the very people who called you paranoid. The tables didn't just turn. Complete flipping happened. You went from the outcast to the authority without even trying. This is what divine justice looks like. Not you fighting for vindication. Not you proving anyone wrong. Not you exposing anyone. Just you standing in your truth consistently, and reality eventually catching up to confirm what you knew all along. Your name carries weight now. Not because demand for it happened, because earning happened. Not through popularity, through integrity. Not through alliance, through authenticity. You became the standard by refusing to lower yours. You became the authority by bowing to no authority except truth. You don't need them to use your name. You don't need validation. You don't need acknowledgement. You're complete without any of it. Use of your name benefits them more than you. It gives a reference point for truth in a sea of lies. It gives a standard to measure against in a situation where everyone compromised theirs. But for you, you already knew who you were. You already knew what you saw. You already knew you were right. Confirmation is just noise. Pleasant noise maybe, vindicating noise certainly, but still just noise. The real victory was never needing it in the first place. Walk forward, chosen one. Head high, heart protected, boundaries fortified, standards unmoved. You didn't just survive the attack. You became stronger because of it. You didn't just weather the betrayal. You grew through it. You didn't just endure the isolation. You transformed in it. Your name is the authority now. Use that power wisely. Use it to help those genuinely seeking truth. Use it to expose what needs exposing. Use it to protect what needs protecting. But most importantly, use it to keep building a life so aligned with your truth that anything not meant for you can't even enter your field. The war is over. You won. Not by fighting, but by refusing to compromise. Not by defending yourself, but by living in such alignment that defense became unnecessary. Not by proving anyone wrong, but by building a life that speaks louder than lies ever could. This is your victory lap. Take it slowly, savor it, and remember, you were born for this exact moment. Everything led here. Every betrayal positioned you. Every lie about you created contrast. Every person who left made room. Everything got orchestrated to show you one undeniable truth. You are the chosen one, and now everyone knows it.